Most of my content is really about African American content or African content, but for the most part, we don't really focus in on the other parts of the diaspora. And one of the parts of the diaspora that is really huge out there is the Caribbean. Now, we know with the Caribbean, we have people from, Jamaica, Trinidad, places like that, Barbados. But what is often forgot is the Dominican Republic. Now, it's sort of forgotten because, number one, Dominican Republic is Spanish speaking, and also there is some conflict if Dominicans want to accept their blackness. So that's why they are often forgotten in the Pan-African conversations. But I wanted to bring it to light because this brother, Jamie the Pro Expat, talked about how Dominican women, in his opinion, are being treated by white men and European men. Now, I want to talk about this whole phrase, La Terraza, right? I think that's what I'm saying, which is improve the race. A lot of Dominicans believe in this theory, even if they're black as me. If they're black as me or blacker, they may or may not be happy with their particular skin complexion. So what they'll tell their kids is this:
to improve the race, to make it wider. That is what mejorar la raza means, and that is what a lot of Latin people are consistently told by their family and friends. As you saw on the video where this comment came from, I told you guys about how I didn't know that I have racist biases before I moved to the United States. In the Dominican Republic, most people are darker than me, and there's this concept of hair, that I have good hair and that people that have curlier hair have bad hair. In the Dominican Republic, people are encouraged to marry white, to marry someone that is lighter skinned than you and someone who has good hair so that your kids can come up to be white with good hair. And believe me, I know that a lot of Dominicans are going to come for me on the comment section, but guess what? I don't care. The concept of whiteness is not limited to the United States. In fact, the superiority of the white people is all over the world at this point, to the point that Latin people are telling their kids, marry white, to the point that if we have a black boyfriend, that represents a problem and our family rejects that person. And yes, you're not going to be killed in the Dominican Republic because of the color of your skin, but you are going to be discriminated against because of it.
So, and Dominican Republic is a vacation spot. A lot of women from the DR, even Haitians, okay, you have Haitian women there too. They are told to, they basically don't even deal with the black men because you want to improve your conditions, improve the race. Go after white men. But this guy is saying certain things that's happening when white men are dealing with these women.
A good example is I've seen where the women are a lot more obedient towards a white man. Like, they'll jump through hoops. Like, basically, I've seen, and this is crazy, like, I've seen, like, girls basically act like slaves to some of these guys just because he was white. Like, to the point where I saw this one white man. He had his wife working construction, like literally mixing concrete, laying bricks, doing all this other stuff that you know that if it was a black man or another Dominican man, she would not be doing. She'd curse the guy out. And it was nuts because, like, this guy, even though he has money, like, he had his wife work like demeaning, I wouldn't say demeaning jobs, but like most guys are not going to have their wife doing stuff like that. And then while they're basically sitting there drinking iced tea, and basically, like, she was doing more physical labor than he was. And like I said, some people say that's okay, but me, like, to me, that's like, the guy was doing it as a means of, like, I'm over you, you're a slave working in the field for me, and I can come get some of that whenever I want to, that type of thing. And some people have a fetish of that. And I've seen a lot of Haitian girls, same thing, where a lot of Haitian girls, they try to have a, baby with a white man, particularly Canadian or, European. Like I said, a lot of the American white guys, they take care of their kids. But I see a lot of Canadian guys and a lot of Germans and Swiss that will abandon their kids in a minute. I don't know what that's about. But so it's not all white guys are the same. I also see German guys take care of their kids, but a lot of times you see a lot of these German guys pimp a girl out, and she'll go with it because a white guy's doing it. Like, you know, some of these German guys will have a Haitian girl, you know, basically sleep with the entire group, you know, and do all types of meaning, you know, ghetto gaggers type of stuff, and it's okay because a white guy's making you do it.
Now, he also talks about something that was interesting when, you know, he was talking to a Haitian lady that worked at a restaurant, and this is what the boss was telling them.
I remember this one Haitian girl, and she was really, really cute, and she actually liked me. But her friends actually told her, and she later told me this, because I still got with her anyway, but her friends told me, like, you know, you don't want to be seen talking to any of the black guys in front of the boss, because the boss says, you know, you should only talk to white guys, and this and that. You know, we're not here for those, you know, slur, because, you know, she spoke English, and, you know, so she talked about, like, how her boss was like, you're here to cater to the white guys. Like, I don't care about, you know, the black guy's business or anything like that. And, you know, luckily, like, you know, when she moved into town, she eventually found another job because she just felt very uncomfortable. And she felt like she was pressured to, like, you know, do things. Like, the boss tried to nudge her in the direction to do things with some of the clients that she was not okay with. And like I said, a lot of these older guys, like, to them, they view these girls as like pieces of meat to fulfill some of their sick fantasies. Now,
this last comment about a lot of the women in Dominican Republic wanting to have their African roots for this reason is shocking.
And this is the interesting thing. Like, they try to make sure that their African features are pronounced because they know that's a fetish for a lot of the European guys. So themselves, they'll wear the curly hair, they'll wear the afros, but they don't want to be around other black people because they know that that's a sexual fantasy for that man, that he wants a black woman that he can sexually abuse on command, and they're willing to, you know, to tolerate that for what they perceive will create a better life for them. And it's sad, but I mean, what can you do? Like, they're consenting adults.
That's right. They want to preserve their African features and natural hair, but get this is not for black men. This is only for the white guys because the white men love those Afrocentric features, but they don't want to be anywhere around black people. And do you know what? That is so obviously true here. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm gonna tell you, you have so many content creators in Africa, in Uganda, in Kenya in particular, who are doing village African style content. Okay, they're in the village, they're using traditional foods, they're cooking, men and women, and a lot of these people have a white partner, right? They are pretty much selling their culture to get next to white people. I mean, they're going deep in the village, and you'll see they'll have a white girl or a white man. It's so common. One of the biggest TikTokers here, I don't want to mention her name, beautiful lady. You would look at her and think that she is so pro-black. Listen, I'm talking about Afro, everything. You mean the woman is absolutely gorgeous. Got to be a white guy. Okay? So that whole thing, holding on to your African culture, they know that white men want an authentic acting looking African woman. They don't want no BBL. They want the chicks that look as authentic as possible, right? So they're selling that culture to white men, and then in return, they have this whole sexual experience. Now, again, I told you what the guy was saying, that some of these white men make these women, Dominican women, work like slaves. Like, I've never been there, but that's what they said. Now, the one thing is, I understand the Dominican community is very diverse. I'm not an expert in it, but it's diverse. In a black Dominican or a white Dominican, to them, they are all, from what I've been told, Dominicans. That's how you see yourself, okay? Unfortunately, I had to learn that lesson big time. I used to live in Poland. I love my time in Poland, but I did go through some racial profiling in Poland that I shouldn't have went through. Okay. Me, I felt that I was a Black American, an African American. Me being an African American, I felt like, well, they're not going to put me in the same category as somebody from Nigeria or Zimbabwe. Boy, was I wrong. When people would be drunk and they would drive by and say mean things, they couldn't tell where you was from, okay? What they knew is your ass was Black, and when they wanted to say something offensive, it wasn't for, oh, you know, you're from America, so you're good. Now, don't get me wrong. Once they do know, people will give you, you know, a certain level of preferential treatment. You know, you get it at the immigration borders and things like that. You know, you get treated a little bit better, especially when I was in Paris. I was going through Paris to somewhere from Charles de Gaulle. And when, you know, when somebody sees you from America, you do get treated better. That's true. But if they don't know you, they're not going to treat you better. And the one thing that the Dominicans may or may not believe is how they are actually seen by other people. And by the smallest hint, if you look Black, you know, when you go to Spain, you go to these other places, you're not going to be accepted as you want to be accepted. So the world is going to look at you, for the most part, if you look Black, as somebody that is Black or somebody that is not white, or you're somebody that is not whatever the case it is, and somebody that is not from that particular clan. You know, like you can try to think you're white all day, but the other people are not going to accept that. And so what happens is we have so many of these brothers and sisters out there that don't want to accept their Blackness or accept their ties to the African continent, that they're trying to do everything to be accepted by whites, and now they're being abused. And if they would accept that they were Black or part Black, then when they would interact with Blacks, they would actually be more accepted by us, and they would get further by working with us. But then instead of trying to, you know, be with the Germans and all these other people who would never accept them. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we got to wake up and know how the world sees us, so that we can continue to evolve and not be mistreated. I don't know how many ladies here feel in Africa, if they get a white husband, it's going to change their life. There's been a lot of interracial marriages happen in the last 100 years for Black people. And unfortunately, we still at the bottom. What does that tell you? All right. The Arabs, the Asians, all of them have gotten to where they're at. And none of their success as a group is based on interracial marriage. I can tell you that right now. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shirley Jackson, back at it again with another episode here at Fair Use. I'm out.